I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Back. This is World Cup episode 4. Literally minutes after the U.S. draws Wales 1-1. So I'll ask how you're feeling, but I'm going to ask what you're wearing first.
Oh, dude. First of all, we're coming in here with low energy. All right. 1 point's fine, right? It's not the worst thing. But, yeah, I'm wearing the 2014 World Cup kit.
The John Brooks kit. It's not Brooks on the back. It's just the one he scored in. I'm rocking the 22 Lexi Lawless Stars jersey, 94 World Cup.
He's getting a lot of hate.
Dude, people are hating a lot. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Fox's broadcast either, but yeah, it's like I think he's there. He's a TV personality. He's not just a soccer guy. Like, yeah, you put us on there, we'll break down the game. We'll give you the truth. You put other guys on there, they'll play the TV game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, we had the game, give a penalty, and like we come away with a point. Like, it's disappointing.
Let's just get into it.
But worst case scenario for me before, I was like, we could still make it through as long as we get a point in this game. You're kind of expecting 0 against England. You're expecting 3 against Iran. It's like you get a point and you could feel okay about it. But the way the game went today, I think you're disappointed with only getting a point.
Especially how good we were in the first part of that first half. Maybe we started to fade a little bit towards the end of the half. But we played really well in the first half. I think we just need to improve our crossing. Get more players in the box. I think a few players didn't look as sharp as they should have, like Weston McKennie being one.
A lot of these guys, like Weston hasn't played a game since early or mid-October. Like, I thought, 5 minutes in, we're dominating the ball. Wales did not come to play at all. They came to sit in a low block, mid block. Didn't want to press the ball at all. So it was easy for us to get into the game. Got Ream and Zimmerman just pinging the ball back and forth. And I was like, holy crap, we look good. And I was like, I thought the game would be more challenging than that. And then obviously the second half, they start to press higher. And their 2 forwards kind of take away our 2 center backs. And it looks a lot messier. In the beginning of the game, we have our 2 center backs, lots of time on the ball. Our 3 center mids found spaces to get a lot of time on the ball. And we kind of dictated the tempo. And I was surprised at that because coming into the World Cup, I didn't think it'd be that easy. And, it turned out it wasn't. But
it's just one of those things where Wales just took the U.S. off the pace. Is that the saying?
I've never heard that.
What it took
was it off the pace?
I don't. What I'm trying to say, switched the pace. When teams sit back and then they press, and then to change the pace. You guys will get what I'm trying to say.
So I have no idea why they did that to start. Maybe they thought they could get through 0-0 and then take it to us in the second half, or maybe they were just like, "Oh, we don't need to do this. They can't play out." And
I think it was.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it was more that where they were like, "Oh wow, I don't think we need to do this."
Yeah, maybe they thought we'd be better, which we were pretty good. And also the way they set up in the first half is good practice for them against England too. What was it? Rob Page, is that their manager?
Rob Page,
maybe Rob Page was like, "Boys, this first half, let's practice how Sargent in the Harry Kane role and just pretend." I don't know, but do you just kind of talk about the lineup to start?
Yeah.
I mean, so Turner in goal, we all kind of knew that. Anthony Robinson. I think by the time this game rolled around, I think everyone was kind of assuming that Tim Ream was going to start. Walker Zimmerman starting. Dest starting. There were some questions about that, whether he was fit, but he was obviously fit enough. Typical midfield, Musa, McKennie, Tyler Adams. Yeah. McKennie hasn't been fit, so there was questions there as well. And then front 3 of Pulisic, Weah, and Sargent. So Sargent was probably the biggest surprise. I think most people kind of expected Ferreira based on what Greg likes. And Weah was probably going to get minutes. He wasn't sure. Maybe Aronson starts there, or Reyna. But we roll with with Weah. So like, yeah, I think like 5-10 minutes in, I was like, wow, we are playing really well. Like this is what we need. Like I said something like Greg Hader's in shambles or something, because like we were playing well. Like it wasn't super dangerous, but it was possession soccer, like we were promised, like we were told, and we were taking it to them. And Wales weren't dangerous on the counterattack. Like they took Daniel James out at halftime for Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore looked like the best player on the field to me. Like,
yeah, well, good sub to put Kiefer Moore in because I thought he played really well. But Wales didn't like utilize Dan James at all. Like,
no, he just
his speed. Like they didn't try and use him on the counter, and they didn't try and press with him. So he was just kind of there.
Like, was he playing left wing? Like, or was he just standing there?
Dan James probably feels hard done by walking away from that game. But
he deserves to be, like. So I think the plan was like way less structured than I thought. Like you think of Berhalter, you think of some of these games, think of like intricate like passing sequences, like everything's planned, we're building out of the back, and it was really just like our two center backs split kind of wide. Robinson would push up the field a lot, Anthony Robinson at left back. Dest would push up the field, but for the most part stayed kind of tucked in next to Zimmerman. And like we've talked about on this podcast, he likes to stay in that half space, and he doesn't receive the ball that high. He receives the ball kind of deep and can drive and dribble through the middle of the field, combine, connect, and then slowly kind of work his way up.
Which is fine. Like he can do that role, but that's probably not where he's best at. But you kind of need him on the pitch, right?
Well, I'd rather have him in that role, and then like as we slowly work the ball up the field, he could take up positions higher on the field. And like if you looked at Adams was sitting as a defensive mid, but pulled wide sometimes. Musa and McKennie were very wide, and they would go into those half spaces, but not too far up the field. And then you'd get Robinson high, you'd get Pulisic kind of floating between the lines. Sargent, whose I think main goal was, hey, stay on one of these center backs and occupy them. And then
which is tough when Wales are playing three center backs. Like I would have liked to see like a player like Pulisic, maybe a McKennie a little more to play underneath Sargent. Try and find space there because we got numbers up in the midfield when they have numbers up in the back, right? So I think we could hurt them more by playing through the midfield. And when we did get it there, I think sometimes we didn't realize that there was more space than we had, space than we thought.
Yeah, I think like McKennie seemed like he was dropping back as if he needed to aid in build-up, and he didn't. I'd rather, like you said, like we didn't get McKennie driving to the box at all, either with the ball or as a late runner or to head in across or anything. It's like I'd rather have him there, but like you can't really blame it. Like it worked. Like we were building up well, so why not change it now? I think Pulisic should have had more free. Like he was trying, but we didn't split a line and get it to Pulisic enough. I think as the game went on, he really found his groove like towards the left side of the field and was starting to turn and drive. And then they started like fouling him, and I thought he was really good for most of the game.
Pulisic is best when he plays quicker. Not saying like just gets it and gets off his foot, but when his decisions are quicker, like when he gets it and then he just goes straight at a guy or something. We were talking about on the goal when he gets it, takes a few touches, and then he shifts the ball into his right, and as soon as he does that, he plays the ball in.
Yeah.
How many players do you see will get the ball in their right, take a dribble, and then play it in? That's just like so like expected. Like, when a player like how good Pulisic is, he just shifts on his right and then plays it, so that the defender shifts his body away, and then the next thing you know, it's like the next action is just a through ball.
He's very like instinctual. Like he gets the ball in space and he drives and he's direct. He sucks a guy into him, dishes it off, and as the game went on, I found myself yelling, telling Pulisic, like telling the TV, drive at him, and they settled too much for those like crosses. I felt like Robinson crossed the ball too many times. Not because that's a bad thing. I like Robinson getting up the field. He was actually very good today. But if Pulisic drives at people more, he'll get fouled. If he's in the box and you have a defender standing off, you drive at the guy. Like, I don't care if it goes out for a throw or a corner or maybe he steals the ball. I'd rather take a 30% chance that he gets fouled or that you get a shot off than like a low percentage cross from Anthony Robinson. Yeah. And that was more later in the game when the game opened up a little bit, but I'd rather him take more of those chances. And I don't know, hopefully he's still got it in the tank because he got a little beat up today.
Yeah, you could tell that it was like the first game, I guess, in a while. It's hot.
Yeah,
like some guys just didn't really look that sharp. The crossing was like not very good at all. I mean, they have three center backs in there, But maybe you get a guy like running to one of the posts or something, and then there's a guy top of the box or something.
Yeah, well, we had
like some late runners. Like Weston, I don't think got in the box as much, and like that's what he's good at.
Yeah,
he's like late runs in the box.
So I would say we've seen the U.S. in multiple games play this like almost Liverpool-y type style where
Liverpool-y.
Dest is like a Trent, right? He can hang deep, but joins the attack slowly, half space, like more aid and build up type guy. Then you have Robinson as like the Robertson, right, where he gets up the field, attacks, whips in crosses. And then you have a Fabinho in the center as like a Tyler Adams. And then you have Musa and McKennie as like Thiago and Henderson. I don't know who else. But like, so that's kind of what it was today, where it's the 2 or the 3 and the 3 almost. But like, really, I think what we needed more was McKennie driving a little bit forward. Maybe you could tell Musa to hold a little bit, and then you get him driving towards the box. But McKennie was too far back, where we didn't have that. And every time we crossed the ball, I didn't think we had a guy there for a second ball. Like, so I think our best chances came really early. The one ball over top, Weah settled, crossed it in front post, and it hit off. Was it Rodon's chest? Into the keeper? Or?
I think it hit one of their center backs and it hit the goalie's chest.
Well, it hit his leg and then went to the goal. Yeah, then the goalie caught it. And then a couple minutes later, it was a front post run, and Sargent.
It was right after.
Yeah, Sargent flicked it on and almost hit the side netting. But they were good crosses. But in none of those cases did we have a guy coming in for the second ball, which is what McKennie could be. I think anytime we wanted to, especially in the first half, we were able to find 2v1s out wide. And I think even like Tyler Adams was like pulling wide because we were so comfortable in possession that he could go.
One little tactical note I took note of is like the relationship between Jedi and Pulisic, and then on the other side it was Weston and Weah. Mm-hmm. So like a few times you saw early in the game. Jedi and Pulisic would have made the same run a few times. Then on the other side, it was actually Sargent and Weah made the same run like twice.
Sargent.
And then a few times, I noticed that you could, there could be a partnership there, right? Mm-hmm. Like, those two players are dealing with wingbacks on their respective sides, right? Mm-hmm. Like, one can check and one can go.
Yeah.
Right? A few times they both made the same run, and a few times they both check to the ball.
Yeah.
So I think we could have hurt them a little more if we like Pulisic checks 2, Jedi runs beyond, using that pace, and the same thing on the other side with Weston, and then using Weah's pace over.
Yeah, Weah as the wide channel player. Yeah,
but I honestly didn't see any of that in the second half.
Also,
not any of it.
Like we talked about, like in the past, those type of plays I feel like have been. Like way more planned. This seemed way less planned. Maybe it was just like we just had the ball so much, like there's more like free reign.
I think that's what it was.
And we also we would overload a side very well. So like Tyler Adams would go, Weah would go, McKennie would go. We'd work it out, and then there'd be a huge gap, and we could play it into somebody who would just like knock it to Musa on like a one touch. Like we could combine in the middle a little bit and get going to the other side. That's where like as we're transitioning to like let's say the left side and we get it to Pulisic. Need him to drive a little bit more. I think he was too willing to just dish it off for the cross. And like I said, our crosses, I don't think we're good enough. And then it brings me to the next point. Like, the set pieces were just atrocious. Like, Pulisic cannot take our set pieces. He can't. He can loft them to the back post, which are easy to defend. If he's trying to whip them, he can't clear the first guy. On a free kick, corner kicks, no matter what.
Right.
Even crosses, too.
But who would you put on him?
I mean, when Acosta was in the game, Acosta
should have if Acosta's on the field, he's the best.
Dest got to be able to take him, right?
Well, you might want Dest back there to defend in case of a counterattack.
Leave Robinson's got that covered, dude. Robinson and Adams got that covered.
I think Robinson might get in the box for him.
I don't know. I don't know who else could take him. You gonna tell me like Musa can't take a set piece? First of all, anybody's better than Pulisic. Like those were bad. And like I get if you're trying to be like pinpoint precise, like just over the first man, but like drop it in on the front post. Like yeah, you want to take that chance because like you'd rather have a good chance at a goal, but you got to clear the first guy, and I feel like we were very wasteful. We hired this set piece coach. It should be a superpower of ours, and it's just not.
Who's the set piece coach?
I don't know. He's a set piece specialist. I'm not sure.
I could say I'm a set piece specialist, and
well, I'm sure he's way better at coaching set pieces than you are.
You never see me coach.
What was the game we were at? Was it it was a Union Orlando game, and they had the set piece guy, and all he did was get up for the set pieces. But like he wouldn't even yell anything. He would just stand up and like look like he's like, oh, I better look like I'm interested here. And like we were winning like 4-0, and he's just like still up for the set pieces.
Hey,
like
you gotta do your job.
Yeah, yeah. That kind of bugged me. We earned those set pieces, and we wasteful on the set pieces.
Yeah, over 3.5 USA corners locked that up,
but they do have big dudes. Like, Kiefer Moore's in, Bale's in, both good in the air. 3 center backs, all good in the air.
And Badu, who's a center back, basicly.
Yes.
Played center mid. Like,
and they were pretty dangerous on corner. Every time they got a corner, I was a little worried.
I said this off air that I think if...
Off air. We should get a lineup sign that says on air for the podcast. That'd actually be fire.
Wales is the team that will... if a team is to get a result against England, it's Wales. Just because they're set up like that.
Yeah, like the way they came out in the first half, that's how they could come up. Now, they'd have to like really defend well because they're not going to have any of the ball, and maybe they get a little bit better on the counterattacks and stuff. But they didn't look dangerous, and I was like, they really came out and didn't try to play against us at all.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And we've already talked a little bit about the goal. Pulisic kind of driving in, taking the guy, and then Weah making that slipped run, which is kind of like it's Weah's thing. Like there's diagonal runs.
Sargent was actually made a good play there.
Yeah, he had like 2 touches, and one hit the side netting on the header, and the other was like him chesting that down for Pulisic to take. Which that first touch by Pulisic to get that into his path, like, that's what makes him special. Those are the kind of players we need.
Yeah, that goal was hype.
Dude, that was, and like to me, I was like, we broke them. Maybe we can get another one. Like this is our game. We're playing so well. We deserve that. It just stinks we didn't, and I feel like the chances were there, and we didn't take them.
Yeah,
not that they were good scoring chances, like a wide open net or something, but the half chances there that we didn't fully execute.
What do you think of the Welsh goal?
Well, let's just talk about the second half. Let's go into the second half, right? So they bring in Kiefer Moore for Daniel James, and I think it was 2 up top. It was Bale and Kiefer Moore, and I think it caused us problems. So I think they wouldn't necessarily go sprint to high press. They would just plop themselves 10 yards closer to our center backs, which makes it a little less comfortable.
That's what I was looking for. It took us off our rhythm, not our pace.
Oh,
our
all right.
rhythm.
That's like an actual sentence. I thought you were trying to come up with like a new
no.
slang
It took
saying.
us off our rhythm. That's what I was trying to say.
I thought you were looking for like an English like saying, our rhythm. And Kiefer Moore's really good. He could hold the ball up against anybody.
Haji writes our Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, just a not good version of Kiefer Moore. So, and I think like we started the second half, I think we got a corner like 30 seconds in. I was like, okay, we're ready to go. And then as the 3-4 minutes in, I was like, ooh, this is like casual, it's slow. We like kind of just gave the ball away a couple times, passed it out of bounds. And then they started putting the pressure on. And I think at the time, McKinney was already on a yellow and looking a little sluggish. Dest was on a yellow, looking a little sluggish. Sargent hadn't found the ball or the game at all. And, like, he's not, like, the best presser. Like, yeah, he works hard in his spot, but he doesn't, like, take up much area on the field. He doesn't run really hard. So, like, I was hoping we just made a sub. And I think we made our first sub at, like, 62 or 63.
65.
We should have made the first sub at 53, 54. Like, that could have saved the game. Like, it could have saved us 10 minutes of suffering there.
Aronson was pretty good when he came on.
Yeah, he wasn't, like, super clean. He had one really good turn and run. Most of his best plays come from just winning the ball back and like being feisty. He definitely wasn't clean, but it's expected. Young guy, he's a sub. He looks like a little kid out there too. But yeah, I think we defended for our lives for a few minutes there. They had a few times where they put the ball in the box, they got it back out, put it in the box again. And what else changed the game? I mean, when did they score their goal? 75th, 70th, something
82nd.
Like that? Really, it was that late?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty nuts.
I guess it's a penalty. I think Zimmerman gets the ball, but he does go through his legs. He gets the ball. He just goes through his legs as well.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if Bale's going to spread his legs like that and you get the ball, like, you kind of have to let him get the ball.
It's like saying he didn't score, but the ball went into the back of the net.
Well, maybe he didn't score, but I don't know. It came from a quick throw. Wales subbed in Brennan Johnson for... Who did they sub him in for? One of the wingbacks?
They subbed him in for Nico Williams.
But Brandon Johnson played on the right, so they must have moved someone over.
They
to the
changed
left.
shape. I think they ended up switching to a 4.
Yeah.
Because they had to go for the game, right? Like, if you lose that first game, you're...
Yeah. And Brandon Johnson was pretty good. He was very direct. He got in
He's
and went.
quick.
He picked up a out of bounds. Like, it was out of bounds. He threw it in. And then we were scrambling, and then the cross came in. It wasn't that dangerous of a cross. But I think Zimmerman thought he could get there and, like, nick it away, and Bale just put his body in front. And, that's what kind of got us.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, in the first half. Was it the first half? No, it had to be second half because it was Kiefer Moore. The Kiefer Moore chance where he...
on the corner
kick.
Yeah. That was for
Man,
the...
dude, if he wasn't 6'5", if he was like 6'3", he probably could have got up and down on it.
That was when we were still up a goal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when Turner, he pushes the one over the bar, which before that, right, it was a set piece or something. Tyler Adams is going to head it, and the guy comes in, whoever it was, with an elbow. He wins the header, but the elbow's still at Adams' head.
All right. Yeah.
And then whoever it is, Ben Davies comes in and heads it, and Turner pushes it over the bar.
We know the ref sucked.
I thought the ref was awful all game. Like, so here's what I'm thinking. It's an all Qatari referee crew. Like, we've had American crews at the World Cup for what, 3 or 4 World Cups? Like, it's taken us like 20 years to get refs qualified to ref in this World Cup. And suddenly Qatar has these refs that are qualified now. This guy was not up for it at all. He was inconsistent on everything. He stopped the play when Weah was hurt and just cramping up or stepped on. He stopped it when they were cramping up. And then Pulisic goes down and is cramping up, and he doesn't stop the play. The yellows were just, like, all sorts of, like, out of nowhere. Like, he gave one to Dest. Was it near the sidelines? He gave one to McKinney on the sideline.
He was just one of those refs that would talk to the players and be like, "No, we're done. None of that." Like, I hate those refs. Like, don't even listen to the player if he yells at you, right?
Well, I think it's a good way to, like, control the game rather than just dishing out cards for no reason.
Yeah.
I was just annoyed that he was, like, inconsistent.
All right. Anything else about the match?
I just, like, so let's just kind of go through, like, the starters first, and then we'll go through, like, the subs. I thought Turner was really good. Like, he messed up on one corner where it was in his hands, and he kind of dropped it, and we had to clear it. And then the ref called a foul, so we had a free kick. But other than that, like, he obviously punched the one over the bar. Brennan Johnson had one when we were tied. It was a counterattack from the right, and he shot it really hard right at Turner, and he caught it. And, like, him catching it starts a counterattack for us. And, like, it's just such, like, a clean, technical play. Turner's really good. He was cool enough with his feet, got his touches in early. I'm happy with him. I thought Anthony Robinson was awesome. Like, stepping, he's so athletic, could run for days. He gets up the field very nicely. Like, yeah, he'll lack a lot of, like, flow in his game. Like, he's not that smooth. And, like, he's not the best crosser of the ball, but, like, he's a good player. What do you think of the center backs?
Ream was really good.
It's funny because you weren't a Ream guy back in the day.
What do you mean back in the day?
Like, when Ream was getting call-ups, like, early Berhalter era, you were not a Ream guy. You're always like, oh, Ream is too slow. Ream is this. Ream is that.
Well,
and I was the only guy defending Ream.
Wasn't he too slow?
And he's just suddenly faster now as he got older? Like,
no, I think his positioning is good now. Maybe his positioning was good then, too. But, I mean,
this is, I guess,
his positioning was great today. So
this was a good game for him to play,
if he plays like that against England, I think, like, we'll be pretty solid. Zimmerman's obviously the worst of the two.
The way Ream was class today. If Ream was 23, people would be talking about him on, like, 40
he'd be
million.
playing for Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, exactly. That was apparently a quote that Pep Guardiola went up to Ream and said, if you were 10 years younger, you'd be playing for me, which is hilarious. If he was 23 or 24, like, people would be like, dude, this guy's going to go for 40 or 50 million.
I actually thought Aaron Long was going to start this game, and then Tim Ream was going to do the other two.
Really?
However long.
Well, Ream is a better defender. Sorry, Long is a better, like, he's more of a meathead defender than Ream is.
Okay, but do you start Aaron Long against England because of their ability to score on set pieces?
Oh. Are you saying Aaron Long is a better set piece defender?
Yeah, and
Maybe in theory, but Ream was good today.
all right.
But yeah, I like Walker Zimmerman. I think he's been the more consistent of the two. But today Ream was better. But I think that is a pairing you got to roll with until you don't.
All right. Yep.
I think you just tell Long and Carter Vickers, hey, you're on the scout team. Go be Harry Maguire and John Stones.
Yeah.
What do you think of Dest?
He was fine. We talked about him enough. Yeah.
I liked it. I thought he was good in build up. I think he adds like creativity. I would like to see him get forward a little bit more too.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go through every single player that played.
No, I just want to talk about those guys because I felt like those guys were better than I expected.
Yeah.
Like watching the Japan friendly, I was like, ooh, like if we try to build out like and they press, it could be tough. But even when Wales pressed, I thought we held our own enough in the back. I think the problems came from like McKinney, who was tired, couldn't hold the ball for us enough, but was good enough in the other areas of the game, win the ball back. I thought Adams was the man of the match by far. You ever see the meme of the old guy crying in England? He's like being interviewed outside the stadium, and he's like, he wins that ball back so much. Like that was Tyler Adams today. He was so good, and he was more of a ball progressor than like he's been in the past as well.
Ball progressor. That's a really modern soccer term.
I mean, Walker Zimmerman went the wide progression.
No,
wide progressions, ball progressor.
You know, I've watched every single U.S. soccer press conference just to get some type of information like that again, and I just don't.
Oh, dude, apparently Berhalter, instead of substitutions, he's been calling them solutions.
Really?
So, like, he'd be like, yeah, we have 5 solutions. Like, so who is the solution?
He makes it yeah, but then you make it seem like there's a problem, you know?
A solution doesn't always need a problem.
Yeah,
Solution could just be an improvement over what's working.
I would just think this is
So
substitution.
you haven't found anything quite like wide progression.
Nah.
Darn it.
Well, it's mostly because like they ask dumb questions now, and there's more attention on the team than when Zimmerman was first being interviewed. Like, what I forget what game that was.
It was a World Cup. It had to be a qualifying.
Yeah,
game,
it wasn't. Right? He was like, "Yeah, if I didn't see anything in the center, then I would play it out wide for a wide progression."
It'd be funny if that wasn't like Berhalter's word. It was just Walker Zimmerman process of the game. Yeah. Would you like? I feel like I'm just going through everybody, but Musa, real quick, like he was good. I think we got to give him the ball more.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's funny because I don't think he's like technically that sharp, but like he's so good that it doesn't matter. Like he's not going to take a perfect touch, kill the ball. Like I don't think Musa's like great in a passing pattern. Like you get him in a game, and he's just a baller.
He's one of those guys that probably he gets played the ball, but takes a bad touch. But since he's so athletic, he keeps it.
Yeah, I think his bad touch
I've played
is
with
like
a lot
where
of those
he wants
guys
it.
where it's just like, okay, well he keeps the ball, so it makes up for it.
Also, he's the youngest player in U.S. World Cup history. So like him getting those minutes under his belt.
False.
I heard that today on the radio.
Bro, I thought it was Joe Scally.
Maybe it's the youngest player to play. Joe Scally.
Dude, you didn't see Joe Scally feature in the 2014 World Cup?
Nice.
I'm kidding.
Julian Green. Yeah, I thought we got to get Musa the ball more. I think I would assume he starts the next game. So like I think it's got to be point of emphasis. Like, can we get Musa the ball more driving and
You think if
play
they-
with Musa and Pulisic rather than Pulisic and Robinson?
You think if the homie Del Torre was healthy, you think he would have played?
I don't know. I think today would still been a Costa subbing in.
Gotcha.
Now Del Torre maybe Iran.
Worked this whole
Yeah,
life.
I think we talked about Pulisic being really good. Weah was good for the most part. Obviously scored the goal and like some big moments there. Sargent didn't offer anything. Haji Wright comes in for Sargent, and I don't think did enough.
He just doesn't move enough.
Yeah.
But like he's not quick at all.
No, and like we're playing long balls sometimes, like a long, we play it in, we're trying to play, we get back to Turner, they step up and press, and we go long, and like Turner's ball goes like 10 yards to the right of Haji Wright. It's like, dude, Turner's like hips are facing that way. Just get in position to at least like try to win the ball.
Just throw your body around a bit.
Yeah, he wasn't like you don't expect him to win like 1v3s in the box on crosses, but like win something, like get on something.
Yeah, you think Dest, McKenny, Musa? No, wait, who is it? Dest, Ream, McKenny, and Acosta. You think any of those guys picks up another yellow card?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
you would think Dest doesn't start every game. Like it just seems like he's not in shape enough. So maybe he takes a rest next game. I don't know.
Do you call upon Yedlin again?
Yedlin didn't look great. Like he's not like smooth enough with the ball, but he's a good enough defender, I guess. I don't know.
Shaq Moore?
McKenny would definitely get another yellow at some point.
Yeah, he's probably going to get it in the first half of next game.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I guess we sit him against Iran. Del Toro.
It all makes sense.
Who else got yellows? Ream had a nice tactical foul.
And so did Acosta.
Yeah, Bale was going to shoot that one from like 50 out, and I probably would have quit watching soccer if Bale scored that. I can't stand Gareth Bale anymore. Every time he's on TV, they zoom in on his face, which is annoying anyway. We know Gareth Bale's on the field. I don't need to see a close-up of his face. And, like, he hasn't been, like, a top-level player for, like, 4 years now. I don't know why they got to keep talking about him. Him at the
big name,
stupid MLS Cup final, and then this game is so annoying.
It's targeting the people that don't watch soccer as much. Like, they're not, like, watch as much, not trying to brag, but, like, as watch as much as we do.
I don't think those people want to see Gareth Bale either.
Yeah, but like the fan who's just tuned into the World Cup, like
that played FIFA 5 years ago,
it's probably like, oh, dude, that's Gareth Bale. Like he used to be really good.
I guess. I think his whole career is a bit overrated.
All right, that's not a hot take, but
any other subs? I mean, like I thought Acosta was kind of not quite at the level when he came in. Like there's a clear drop off between Acosta and Musa, Adams, McKenny, even like if you threw it like a Aronson or Reyna in the middle, like with the ball, that Acosta. Now, he didn't have really enough time for Acosta to really gain ground, take a set piece, whip in across, like be there for a second ball coming in, which is what Acosta's good at. Aronson, I thought was, like I said, like a little clunky with the ball, but like his best stuff comes when he like counter presses, wins the ball back, can combine. He really mistimed the one. He was on like a 30-yard dribble after winning the ball back. And we had numbers. I think he took one extra touch and got clamped. Yeah, I don't know. So so England on 3 points. What are we thinking for next game? Like what's your confidence level going in? How do we think England will line up? Because they lined up in like a 4-3-3 today. I'd kind of rather play them with wingbacks, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna. It probably depends on Kyle Walker's health. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, they would.
Like, why not just play? They rolled out with two center backs. It was Maguire and Stones, and then who was the right back? Trippier, left back Luke Shaw. Why not just play Ben White as the right back, and like he does for Arsenal, and then build up in like a 3 center back type thing?
Yeah, true. I don't know. And it's not even like they built up with Trippier as the right center back. Like Saka is way more inside than he is for Arsenal.
Yeah, and normally you want Saka like combining from the outside in.
Like England doesn't. Yeah, they won 6-2, which is kind of a crazy scoreline. But it is kind of like slow the way that not slow the way they build up because they switch it like pretty quick. Everything's in 2 touches. Like it's a change of pace watching the Ecuador-Qatar game to go and watch in England. Like, like they'll go from side to side. They'll go out to the right back. Then they'll switch it through. They'll go out to so they kind of inch up every time they switch the ball.
Well, Iran was sitting so deep too that it was like almost like not even a like soccer game you could take anything away from because Iran was just sitting there. I was hoping Iran would like come to play a little bit, but they didn't. And I thought they were going to like pull it off and maybe get the halftime 0-0. They were killing all the time. Their goalie got the broken nose. So I was like, maybe they could just like keep this kind of ugly for a while. And then once England got one, it was...
A few of those goals, like England would get it forward and Iran would have like 3 dudes back. Like just 3. Like where's the rest? Where's the rest of the year 11?
Yeah, I think they just broke the line so quickly.
And it's also they're good on set pieces. They might have scored off 1 or 2. Maguire hit the post on one, the crossbar, and he also got taken down in like the first 2 minutes. Like probably should have been a PK. All their corner kicks are outswingers. So Trippier takes the right-sided ones, outswing.
Luke Shaw
takes the.
So if it's Trent, he'll take the. He'll stop in for Trippier.
I would assume it's not Trent at this point.
Which is crazy to me. If you don't want Trent, I'll take Trent. But I guess like I think I would rather us play against them playing 3 center backs and wing backs, and hope that we could find a way to like combine out wide.
Nah, I would rather have them play the formation in shape that they recently did, because if they played 3 center backs, they would control the ball like so much more. Like,
yeah, but
possession, they would dominate us in possession. Like, we would not touch the ball.
I kind of like,
and we just played 3 center backs. We're talking about we want to get balls in the box. Then you're playing 3 center backs who are twice as better as the Welsh center backs.
Didn't play a Ferreira and try to link up around him. I don't know. Dude, draw him out a little bit.
Dude, a Ferreira? I haven't mentioned his name yet, man.
Well, yeah, he didn't feature, so like we also haven't mentioned Christian Roldan. Did we want to mention Christian Roldan?
We didn't mention Jordan Morris.
Is there anything to mention? Like I think Jordan Morris could have done better putting second balls into the box. Like there was one with like a minute or 2 left. It pops out to him, and he's got to get it in the air, because if you put that on the ground, it's going to get cleared, and then it starts a counterattack for them. So, I think everyone would have rather seen Gio Reyna in that situation, but like game's ugly, 5 minutes left. I guess it makes sense for Morris to go, and maybe you save Reyna's legs.
All right. Okay. Back to England and U.S. and the rest of the group. My outlook, I think if the U.S. don't get a draw against England, they could be in very bad shape. Assuming Wales gets 3 points against Iran, so Wales would be on 4. England would, if we lose, England would be on 6, and we'd be on 1. And I think England, because the whole yellow card accumulation thing, I think they would start a lesser squad against Wales when Wales is pushing. And like, there's an opportunity for Wales to almost go and get another point, right? So I mean, would they be on 5, right?
Yeah.
If they got another point off England from a lesser England team.
Yeah, as long as England don't lose that game, they're top of the group.
But the USA is going to be playing England when they're at their strongest.
Yeah, now we could be playing Iran when they're like dead. Like they could be 0. Like they could.
They're
have
fighting for pride. No,
I guess, but there's political stuff. Like we've seen like teams like fire their coach before, like mid World Cup. It's happened before. So maybe they just all hate each other by that point, and we just like stomp all over them. And but yeah, like dude, the fact that we didn't win this game is brutal. Like it doesn't put us out, and I still feel like we should be okay to like get through. But man, dude, it makes it so much easier if we just have 3 points right now.
It might just come down to goal differential too.
Oh, dude, we gotta hope. I don't see Wales as a team that really runs it up on, and maybe Iran's still fighting for that pride in the second game, so they keep it tight. Like, what's going to happen between Wales and Iran? Are they just going to kick the ball off and then just go sit in their respective low blocks and, like, just leave the ball for someone else to take?
No, you have it.
You take the ball. You take the ball. Like, dude.
If Iran get a draw against Wales, then Wales is on 2, Iran's on 1. We're on 1. England's on 6. Then we just need a win against Iran.
Yeah. Iran's out with a draw anyway. The draw doesn't do them any good.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's going to be crazy, man. Like, the whole time, I don't think anyone's expected a result against England. It's pretty much been like, draw or win against Wales, you got to beat Iran. That's like how everyone's kind of figured this out. But I don't know, maybe we surprise them a little bit. I don't see this team as a team that can get results against teams that much better. Like, we've seen Mexico kind of take the game from us a little bit, but then we take it back and dominate and win. Like, I think that Nations League final game in, wherever it was, Denver. But, like, just thinking about, like, this Welsh midfield and then Bellingham, Rice, and, you know, whoever they throw in the midfield, Foden, Grealish. Who was the other one today? Mount. Like, I don't like Mount, but they're a clear step up from, like, anything we've faced in.
I think we should start Aronson instead of Weah. Well, Reyna was an unused sub today too.
Yeah.
He just must not be healthy. Because why would you ever in a million years put Jordan Morris in over Reyna? Like, let's be honest.
I mean, people were saying like Reyna should start, and now
He must just not be fit.
yeah, but he's played recently for Dortmund. You would think he would be. Like, there hasn't been anything saying that he's not fit.
Or maybe he's planning on using Reyna
The rest of the way.
the rest of the way.
And like, okay, I get this too. Like, here's a psychological point where like you use Morris today for 5 minutes. Is Reyna really going to make an impact in that 5 minutes? Probably not. Now Morris feels like he's part of the group. Now Acosta feels like he's part of the group, and you get the best out of Morris every training.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, you get the best out of everyone. It's the World Cup, but there's
That's why we signed you to the on the half turn team, because you look at it from a coach's angle.
Yeah, I really know like the psychological aspects.
Yes. Thanks for sharing that.
I think on your coaching courses you learn about the physical, the mental, I don't know, all the psychological.
I'm learning a bit of it right now.
Leading the team, leading the player, managing performance environment.
Something like
6
that.
tasks of a coach. You don't know that?
Yeah, dude. I study that all the time.
Or no, those are the 5. The 6 tasks of a coach is coaching games, coaching training sessions, leading the team, leading the player, managing performance environment.
Leadership.
Is it just leadership? I already mentioned
leadership.
3 or 4 other things of leadership.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I don't think the 5th one you said, I don't think is managing performance environment.
Managing performance environment is one of them. 100%.
Well, one of them means like the parents as well. So that might fall into
I
that.
think that's
kind of-
managing
I think they named it something different. But we digress.
Triple G, you don't even know what digress means. Triple G is managing the performance environment by giving Jordan Morris these minutes over Reyna. Like, would my take from, remember a couple weeks ago when we did the Q&A, and I said Reyna would be the best player in 26 who also played in 22? If he doesn't play in 22, if he doesn't feature at all, does my take not make sense? Because I also said Chris Richards, and Chris Richards obviously isn't here.
Interesting.
But I think if you take positives, right? One, Turner is good. Turner could stop shots against England. Now, is he going to be like prime, Tim Howard against Belgium? I don't know, but I think he's got that like potential. Like, he could get on a heater. Real quick on Turner, it was annoying that the way we conceded against Canada in qualifying at Canada, where we look like we're going to build up and then we just boot one long to nobody, we've done that multiple times today as well. You know what I'm trying to say? We're set up to build, and instead of pushing everybody up, we try to play like a direct long ball into like somebody's chest to take down.
Last little tactical note, our wingers need to be more inside.
On the restarts, on the...
You see it so many times with Union games, is like when they do a 6 kick, they're all within like 20, 25 yards.
Yeah.
Not the U.S.
Well, I think
They're
the
like-
U.S. is trying to... If you play that one perfectly to a Pulisic or to Sargent, he could bring it down or drop it off to McKennie, get in the other side of the guy, then you're starting the attack.
Yeah, but then
the margin for error there is so small.
Well, yeah. I always thought that if you play it short, then you set up your shape. If
Yeah.
you're going to kick it long, then get everybody up. Like, you don't
Yeah.
need to be in the middle there. I just never understood
I think
that.
the U.S. needs to play a diamond in the midfield, like Carrington.
I'll get started on that.
So other positives, I think Robinson's a positive. I think the center back partnership, positive. Adams, if he keeps this form, is insane. Like, yeah, he's going to be trying to steal the ball from Bellingham, Mount, Saka, like those guys, which is harder, but he's going to back pocket Harry Kane so hard.
They play against them week in, week out, dude.
And Leeds takes, and dude, he's very good at, sometimes he was a little overly aggressive, like, no, I don't want to call it overly aggressive because I like being aggressive in like the counter press, but sometimes he stepped up and relied on like the ball getting past him and him just repressing from the back rather than keeping the play in front of him. But if that's the plan on like broken plays and like broken attacks, then I'm all for it. So that's a positive. I think another positive is the fact that we didn't get enough out of Musa, but he clearly has that ability. Like, we could get more out of him, and that's something that we didn't see click today. Another positive is like whatever we get out of Aronson or Reyna in one of the either starting or substitute spots. And then I think Pulisic looks like the guy again. There's been U.S. games, especially in qualifying, where he doesn't look like the guy. He's out of sorts. Like, today, he was the guy. Like, you play it to him, hit his chest, first touch, he can hold it up, he can lay it off.
You saying he's him?
Well, we have Timothy Weah. We need a
Christian Pulisic.
Christian Pulisic. Yes. Yeah. But areas of improvement, I think, dealing with a press, attacking set pieces. I guess defending set pieces too. You can never be too good at that, but attacking set pieces definitely. I think getting something out of the 9, whatever we need more of it. Like Sargent was good today. He aided in a goal, but like give it to him more. Freaking ping it into him. Let him hold it up. Let him earn us a foul. We didn't do that enough. And if it's Haji Wright doing it, let Haji Wright be a big menace up top. If it's Ferreira, maybe we could play into Ferreira and off of Ferreira and link up, which I think could be cool too. I don't know if we could do it against England, but you know.
Yeah, and everyone on Twitter is probably like, play Weah at the false 9.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Weah doesn't make sense as a false 9. Weah runs the channels, and he wouldn't be a false 9. Now, like Reyna or Aronson would be a false 9, and I think that'd be kind of cool. Then Maguire would be looking like the Mr. Krabs meme where he's like looking all over the place.
Yeah.
But John Stones, on the other hand, is too smart for that.
Yeah. All right. What's your USA England prediction? But first, give me your Iran Wales prediction.
Iran Wales, I think it's going to be 2-0 Wales. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Wales.
USA England, I'm thinking 2-2. 2-2. We're going to draw England, and we're going to be up on England, and they're going to start pressuring and really take the game to us. But, like, I think they'll establish themselves as a better team. We score once. They score once, and it's like, oh, England's got it now. We score again. And I just think there's going to be more space to play. Like, there's more. I would think Weah plays again. Weah has to start again because the space is there for him to make that run.
I think it's 3-2. No, not 3-2.
I was going to say, you think Matty Turner and the boys give up 3 goals?
No, it'll probably be like 2-1 England. Or 2-0 England. I think it's 2-0. I think the USA lose. Like, I'm being realistic here.
I thought we were in spots to score goals. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't get enough shots. We didn't get enough shots on target. We didn't create, like, clear-cut chances. But, like, the areas we got in on the field were promising. I think we were crossing from a little bit too deep. And I get that those are, like, spots you want to cross from. But Wales had 3 center backs ready to snuff it out. Like, I think maybe if you, like, drop it back to a McKinney or a Musa at, like, the corner of the box. Like, so if you look at the 18-yard box. The corner of that box, if you can get it in that area and cross it, like, I think we'll be a little bit more dangerous.
I think it comes down to how bad we want it.
How bad do you want it? Like, do you got to die to get 3 points?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man. This is more of like a reaction rather than attack. I think we picked up on some good tactical nuggets here.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
that's good.
Like Wales vacated the half spaces wide and build up like just wider than our center backs. So like we took it, controlled the game. Anything else? Is this the end of the episode?
Unfortunately,
we got to end. So we'll be back, I guess, after the Group H games. And then we'll recap like everything else that happened outside of Group B.
I guess Group H is on Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving night.
Thanksgiving night, dude.
I'll be so stuffed with turkey that I'll be so ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't eat too much turkey on Thanksgiving. You know.
All right. Yeah, we'll speak about it maybe.
All right. Cool.
All right.
That's it. So this is episode, I think, 47, World Cup episode 4. All right. Peace.